12:05 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. And you're listening to the show heard every Wednesday at this time, Helping Seniors of Brevard with Joe Steckler, the founder of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Joe is still recovering from his knee surgery, but hope that he'll be back real soon here in the Magic Air Chair. But nonetheless, I'm John Harper. Kerry Fink is here. And Kerry, it seems like the topic of discussion amongst all the circles that we all travel in is the COVID and what's being done about it.
You said that exactly right. In fact, John, as you know, we were talking just before we began the broadcast. We just posted out on the Helping Seniors Facebook page and all of our social media. You can follow us on Facebook. We're still on Twitter. We're on the LinkedIn pages, and we're also on Instagram. And the Florida Health Department of Brevard is now accepting appointments again for a limited supply of COVID-19 vaccinations from the state. And so I guess it's an important time. If you go there to that Facebook page, you'll see the link to get to, because it's fairly long, or I would read it. You could also call us, by the way, on our Senior Information Helpline at 321-473-7770, 473-7770. Let me say that all together now, 321-473-7770. And Kim Bernard, our education specialist, could help you either get the link if you don't have immediate access to it through Facebook, or she might even be able to help you try to organize that if she's able to from her office desk. So either way, there's a lot of stuff, a limited amount of appointments. Now, John, you had actually been able to get into the first round, and they were just telling you, in fact, that they're going to move up your appointment date.
Yeah, I was able to get into the first round. However, my shot was not scheduled until the end of this month. And on the way here to the radio station, I received a phone call and indicating that my shot time and date had been moved up till tomorrow. So I'm kind of thrilled about that, the fact that it has been moved up and I can get going on this.
No, it's terrific. And if you remember, Joe Steckler, our president and founder, called into the radio show last week, and he was explaining, as you know, he's working on the physical therapy to get that knee back in shape. He's over at Melbourne Terrace, and he had told us that he had not only had his first shot, but no side effects, everything. It was super smooth. And I was actually doing a Helping Seniors update this morning, John Harper, with Chris Morse, who is our friend from the Helping Seniors Travel Club. And he said yesterday that he said today that he had just had his shot as well, and no side effects, all smooth. So everybody is feeling good about this. And so I'm looking forward to hearing your story when we're on the radio next week.
Absolutely. And again, I'm just delighted. I was telling Jim Voltro when we left this morning from his studio that I was getting real concerned about having to wait so long and not getting the shot and not even sure if I was confirmed. And then about 15 minutes later in the car, I got this call from Brevard County indicating that my appointment time had been moved up till tomorrow. So I'm very anxious, ready, willing, and able to make that happen.
Yeah, I think it's good because, as you know, we had a meeting yesterday with a couple of executives from one of the larger assisted livings in our area, and he was telling me that because they're assisted living, they're not like medical. They're not necessarily at the front of the line, as you remember he was telling us.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it's good that at least it's starting to move in the right direction. And so if you are a senior and you meet those qualifications, you should definitely check that out. Like I said, we posted it out this morning as soon as we got the information onto the Helping Seniors Facebook page, which is simply enough, Helping Seniors of Brevard. So take advantage of it, or if you have a question, give Kim a call at 321-473-7770.
Now, Kerry, we spoke last week on the show about many of the facilities throughout the state starting to gear up in order to give the shot, specifically public supermarkets. Governor Ron DeSantis had a press conference yesterday in which he spoke about expanding that footprint to other public supermarkets in the state and other aspects of what is going on with the vaccinations. So let's give a listen to the governor in that press conference.
So, at the end of the day, we have hospitals doing a lot of vaccinations. We've got some of these community sites, drive-in, and that's all good. But Publix is in every community. If we can get it more in every community, it's going to be easier for people to get the vaccines. And so yesterday we announced that we are expanding to the Panhandle, 26 additional Publix pharmacies in Northwest Florida in Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton, and Bay counties. And so they're going to be able to sign up today, and you're going to start to see shots tomorrow in those counties. But that's not all, and that's why we're here. So today I'm happy to report that we're expanding it even further. We're doing 56 additional Publix pharmacies here in St. John's, Flagler, Volusia, and then down in Southwest Florida in Collier County. So we're going to have 14 Publix in St. John's, including the one right here in Ponte Vedra Beach. There'll be 4 Publix in Flagler County, 22 in Volusia County, and then 16 in Collier County. And I've just spoken with the Publix folks. We're not stopping here. As you probably heard in the news, they're talking about maybe releasing more vaccines sooner. We have the ability to do it. Publix has the ability to do it, and we want to continue following the models that work. So right now, today, they are going to have the site live for appointments for those Publixes in those counties. So Publix.com/COVID vaccine. There'll be a link. You can go, reserve a time, and the appointments go very quickly. So just be forewarned about that. But once they're out of appointments, that's just out of appointments for whatever shipment they're getting. They're going to be opening them up to do more in the future, and so hang in there. We have now done in the state of Florida, well, there's been reported close to 400,000 seniors have received vaccines in Florida. That's the most of any state by a country mile, and that's just what's being reported. We're the only state that's done a majority of our vaccines for seniors, and we've done now 60% of all reported shots have gone to people 65 and up, and that percentage is going to increase each week. And if you look, when these shots are reported, it's not instantaneous. So for example, last Wednesday, we now show 68,000 shots done in one day. But if you would have looked at that a day after, 2 days after last week, it would have been like 45 or 50,000. So yesterday, they're already reporting 38,000. I can tell you that is going to go up significantly as the shots are being reported. But we really believe it's important to put seniors first on this. You remember when we did the vaccine strategy, I did not follow the federal government saying to put healthy workers ahead of senior citizens. And the reason is because that's not consistent with the data that we have that shows the risk is more significant as you get older. And so we made the decision that obviously as the nursing home mission went from the very beginning, and that's continuing, as the healthcare workers who are dealing with COVID patients in particular were getting vaccinated, we made the decision that our next goal was 65 plus, seniors first in our broader community. Now we knew that there'd be way more demand than you could meet supply, but we would rather have there be more demand than supply than having the vaccine go bad like you've seen in other parts of the country. So the demand is robust. People are getting shots. We're going to continue to have more and more throughput as more vaccine comes. But I think it's important to note that we didn't follow that. We put seniors first. Now what is the federal government saying? They're saying to do 65 and up, just like Florida has done. So we've led the way on this, just like we led the way with opening schools, just like we led the way with putting people back to work, just like we led the way with protecting nursing homes at the outset of this. 65 plus is where we need to focus it. And if you look, to be close to 400,000, and we're still in the second week of January, and that really increasing at a big clip every day. We're just really excited. And I can tell you, being at all these events where we've seen people in Publix, we've seen people at I was at the Villages yesterday, drive-through test site or drive-through vaccine site. We wanted it to be golf carts, but it's too cold for their golf carts. So now they're doing their cars. But if it warms up, they'll do golf carts. So you're doing that. And, in the hospitals, people going in. And this is a sense of relief for a lot of people who have been waiting for this for a long time. And I can tell you the sense of relief that a 73-year-old gets from this is not the same as if you vaccinate a 20-year-old healthy worker somewhere. So we're putting our parents first, our grandparents first. The momentum is building. We're going to continue to do it. Publix is a really, really big part of that. So again, those four counties, St. John's, Flagler, Volusia, and Collier, you're going to be able to make appointments starting today, and you're going to be able to have shots available in all these Publix starting tomorrow.
Kerry, certainly good news there coming from the governor as far as the shots being available. If you can indulge me one more moment, the governor went on to take some questions and answers, so let's give a listen to that.
Anybody?
Governor Ron DeSantis, Alicia with Action News Jax. I know you mentioned that appointments start here in St. Johns County as well as the other 3 counties for Publix. I mean, how does that process work? What time do folks actually have to sign up to make sure that they get an appointment?
So the website is going to be live as we speak, and so that website is publix.com/COVID vaccine. There'll be a link there. You can go make it, and basically they're going to do appointments, I think, for as many days as they have vaccine that we've allocated to them. But we're going to keep allocating more. So as soon as we allocate more, when we get next week's shipment, then they're going to expand and they'll put it out some more. So we view, like we told them, we want to continue doing what works. And, I think there's been a lot of success on a lot of things. There have been some partners we've worked with that have done okay. And then there's some that have gone above, like Publix, and really, I think, served the seniors' needs. And so we're going to keep doing it.
Governor, we're not sure to give all your questions to you. When will there be more vaccination sites opening in minority underserved communities? Like you mentioned, the houses of worship. We saw that 7 places throughout the state. And I also
well, we've actually done, so we started in Pensacola the previous week. We expanded it across the state. We're going to continue to work. So in Bay County, we're going to do some follow-up, as we get more vaccine, be able to do it. So, it's important that not only we get it all across the state, but, getting it into the places of worship, you have people that are trustworthy, the pastors people trust, and they're able to help really, I think, organize a lot of folks to want to come. There's not 100% interest in the vaccine, and most people, I think, want it. But even like you look at our hospitals, there's some hospital systems that had 75% of their nurses opt for it. There's others that had a third opt for it, and so you just see. So what we want to just say is, look, we want to make it available, and we don't want misinformation. I mean, if you just don't want to do it, fine. But if people you trust have taken it, tell you it's good, then maybe that'll cause you to want to take it.
What is the timeline for those underserved communities?
Well, I mean, the timeline is, we're getting more and more vaccine. I think it's just a matter of, we distributed a bunch of doses to that. If I had twice as many doses, we would have done twice as many sites. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Governor, any word on when this may happen in Duval County? We have lots of questions about that, Jacksonville being such a large area. So any word on when this may happen in Duval?
If we get enough vaccine, we want to expand it everywhere with the Publix partnership. I think the thing that separates like a Duval from a Flagler or Collier is just Duval has a really strong hospital system. You got many hospitals. A lot of them have gotten doses. I know people have gotten shots at a bunch of these different places. And so some of the other counties that we've gone to a little bit more medium-sized, heavy senior population, we saw a gap there that we could really get the shots up right now. But yeah, our goal would be, let's do it everywhere. Now, they have 750 stores. So if we did it everywhere, you can do the math. You need hundreds of thousands of doses just to Publix they'd run out in 4 or 5 days on that clip that they're doing with 100 and 125. But we want to do it. We told them, use it, get it done, and then we'll fight to get more. But we don't want it sitting on the shelves. So we told a lot of hospitals have done well and they've asked for more. Others who still had some, they're working to get it out and get the shots in people's arms.
If you want to get a shot in St. Johns County at the store, do you have to live in St. Johns County?
Yeah, no, and the reason is because, you know, they have stores that are right on county borders, and those are their customers. What we are saying, though, and it may be a little bit here, but more so in the Panhandle, this really is for Floridians, though. You know, I know, like, you know, if you live in Mobile, Alabama, maybe you want to come to Pensacola. Well, we're doing it for Floridians, and that's how we want to do. Now, obviously, we have some people that only live here half the year. That's fine. But if you're kind of a permanent resident in these neighboring states, we do want it for Floridians. I don't think you're going to police the different county stuff, but obviously it's easier for folks to get to Publixes that are close to them.
Will it be coming to CVS and Walgreens and other pharmacies?
So, yeah, last question. So questions about CVS and Walgreens. So what CVS and Walgreens are doing are the nursing homes. So they were contracted with the federal government to do that. And let's just say that I have to put it where I know it's going to go quickly. And I think Publix has proven to be the best at that. So I think what we would do if we had more vaccine dumped is just get it to more Publixes as probably the way that we think makes the most sense. And because that long-term care mission is still ongoing. I mean,
That's a no to CVS and Walgreens.
I would say that they have a mission with the long-term care, and we'd like to see that mission completed. And that's that. And now I've had last week I announced I had to surge additional personnel from the state to do some of the assisted living facilities because we wanted to get it done, and we didn't want it to languish anymore. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus. We're going to, we want obviously them to follow through on the nursing home stuff, and we're going to help out with the assisted living. But as that mission's going on, we're going to continue to work with hospitals, health departments, places like Publix to be able to get the vaccine to the people that need it. And that, again, is seniors first. People will ask me, what about this? What about that? There's a lot of folks who are great people in Florida. There's a lot of folks that do great, important work. And this is not anything about, but when you put seniors first, you're doing the right thing in terms of the evidence and the data about this virus. And these are the folks that have had it the worst in terms of having to do mitigation and be concerned about it. So the quicker we can relieve that burden off our seniors, let me tell you, everything else will be able to be very manageable. And just think about from the perspective of family, of economy, it's the right thing to do. So we're going to get through the seniors. I know I want to give it to police departments, all these other places, but we're going to get through our seniors first. And when we do that, then you're going to start to see it into the broader population. But we're not going to rest until every senior gets it who wants it. Thanks, guys.
And certainly some good news there, Kerry, Fink, coming from the governor as far as the various locations for the shots being expanded throughout the state, and public supermarkets really playing a big part in helping to get the shots extended to a much larger area of the state as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And the thing, John Harper, that I really am encouraged to hear is I love hearing somebody say, let's put seniors first, because as helping seniors in Brevard, that is what we're all about.
Right.
It's difficult enough with all the things that a senior has to fight and challenge with anyway. And this is, has been truly terrifying because the numbers for seniors, as we saw at the outset, were really pretty horrific. And I'm glad that we've made that commitment to putting seniors first because it's so important. And again, as you heard, Joe Steckler, our president and founder, took the shot last week. It all went well. And Chris Morse today reported it went well. And I'm sure for John Harper, it's going to go well. And we'll hear his report on it over the next week as well. So again, if you didn't hear the news, go to the Helping Seniors Facebook page. You'll see the link where you can sign up for an appointment for whatever limited amount of vaccines that they have new appointments available. And they're going to be we will make sure that we keep you updated every time that we hear something about this. You're hearing it on the radio, you're seeing it on the social media, and that's one of the things that Helping Seniors really likes to do.
The process, Kerry, Fink, of getting the shots, getting the appointments, has been quite a problem here for everybody. Nobody has had, from what I've talked to, nobody's had smooth sailing being able to get the shots. and hopefully things are starting to, as of this week, starting to smooth out, and we've got a system in place that will start to work.
Yeah, no, I'm all in favor of that. So we have a good radio show ahead that we want to get to. We have our good friend, longtime friend of the Helping Seniors Organization, Dr. Lee Sheldon, who is with us today, and we have a great topic. In fact, if you've already picked up your copy of the Senior Scene magazine for this month, talking about the January edition, Dr. Lee Sheldon, who is a noted area periodontist, he and his son and a periodontist by the name of Dr. Michelle Furtado, the three are like the top dentists and top periodontists in the area. And they've been friends with Helping Seniors for a long time, but he wrote a great article in this month's Helping Seniors newsletter, which is tucked inside that Senior Scene magazine, called I Want a Date Today. And so we thought maybe today we would talk a little bit about that. So Dr. Sheldon, how are you, sir?
Lee, are you there? Hello, Lee.
Well, we've got
great build up.
we're almost to the bottom of the bottom of the break. So we're going to get Dr. Lee Sheldon connected, and we're going to talk about this on the second half of the show. While this is a good moment, though, for me to tell you that talking with Chris Morse, we are go, by the way, for the Helping Seniors Foundation Cruise on May the 30th, and we just recorded a Helping Seniors update about that. So I think we have Dr. Lee Sheldon. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Kerry?
All good, and we're sort of feeling like the cavalry is riding in over the hill in terms of hearing about these COVID vaccines becoming day by day more available, not only in Florida in general, but even today that Brevard County announced that they are going to take a few more appointments so that seniors can get vaccinated.
Well, that's good news. I just went on the Brevard County website and I couldn't find it. So I went to the Eventbrite link, and the Eventbrite link said sold out. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's probably
how to do that. Now, I already have an appointment, by the way, but I was just wondering for others how to do that.
We had this conversation on the radio a couple of weeks ago, because when we first published the announcement, we got a lot of calls from people saying, hey, I'm not able to get through on the phone. I'm trying the Eventbrite link. And John Harper shared his own experience of what he had to go through to get a phone. And it seemed like being tenacious and persistent is the answer. But of course, each time they announce another batch, it's going to get a little bit easier and easier. But I guess right now, there's more people that we need to get vaccinated than we have the vaccines in the county for.
Yep.
So, other than that, how are you doing, and Happy New Year?
And Happy New Year to you, too. It's I'm doing very well. We are entering in all cylinders here. At the office, we're renewing all of our COVID-19 preventive exercises. We're all drilling that and working with that yesterday, and to get that refined. And so that part's good. Office is busy. Consulting group is busy, and I've got probably 40 or 50 who want to listen to a lecture that I'm giving on Friday. So,
that's terrific.
So I'm having a good time in this retirement, which is a non-retirement.
Well, we're down to the half show break, but we're going to come right back and hit the meat and potatoes of our story, and we're going to follow up with I Want to Date Again, which is the title of Dr. Lee Sheldon's article in this month's edition of Senior Scene in the Helping Seniors newsletter. So we'll be back with that and more on Helping Seniors Radio.
12:32 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Helping Seniors of Brevard, heard every Wednesday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock. Let's get back to more of the show, and here's Kerry Fink.
Thank you, John Harper. And we also have with us Dr. Lee Sheldon, longtime friend of the Helping Seniors Organization. And as we were talking about just before we went to mid-show break, Dr. Lee Sheldon was talking about having, I guess, you said you had an upcoming seminar.
Yeah, now this seminar, unfortunately, is for dentists, primarily periodontists.
Okay, well,
I do this
probably
every Friday. It's a lot of fun for me, where we talk about treatment planning, and so I take my patient of the week, and we talk about the considerations and treatment planning. And we're gaining a following, which is good. So Friday at noon is my day to talk with other dentists around the country. And it's interesting because I had one on from Taiwan last week. It's so neat on the internet. You see people from other countries coming on. Something you wouldn't even thought about 20 years ago, but now it's very easy just to click on.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, I know also, especially as the COVID vaccine gets out and things like that, because you really do a great seminar. I remember when Tammy and I had the chance to attend the one that you were doing where you were explaining kind of some of the myths and mysteries and maybe misinformation that gets out there about dental implants, how valuable that information is. And I think even during COVID, you probably have made some of those kind of resources available, maybe even online.
Yeah, we do, and of course our website is the best place to go, drleesheldon.com or solidbite.com, where you can find that information there. But we're going to do this again.
Good.
We're taking a break now from the routine, but it's going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
Some kind of a normal sometime this year. So so stay tuned. We'll do it again.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier is with Chris Morse, who we work together with on the Helping Seniors Travel Club. I actually just did a Helping Seniors update with him this morning, and he says, no, Kerry, we're full speed ahead on the May 30th sailing. I said, well, you think we'll be back to sea? He said, oh, yeah. He said, they're going to make everybody have a COVID test before they get on the ship. And he actually went through in the Helping Seniors update a lot of the I guess the extra things that they're going to do to make sure that they keep everybody safe. So I imagine between vaccines and everybody getting a better handle on this, we're going to have a much better 2021 than we worked our way through in 2020 with all those changes. But I want to get into the topic of the program. And we wrote down this question, and this is a really interesting question, I think, to be asking a periodontist. But what often gets in the way of personal relationships?
I think it's when you have attention on things other than personal relationships. Let's assume that you're worried about something at home, or you're worried about COVID now, or something like that. There's only a certain number of attention units that you have. And if your attention units are being taken away from whatever relationship you have, if you're multitasking, for example, then you cannot pay 100% attention to the thing or the person that you want to talk to. And so if we're looking at attention, I can tell you that there are a lot of people who have attention on their smile or lack of it. And the way they express that is thinking about it, and then when they get in public, how can I hide what I don't want people to see so that I can get on with the relationship, even if it's just introducing yourself to somebody the first time. Forget dating. Let's assume you're in a business relationship. If you're hiding things and you're paying attention to hiding things, then you can't invest full attention on the relationship you're trying to develop.
Right. So when you say attention units, what you're referring to is kind of like this thing that we're often told. We always kind of pride ourselves on being able to multitask, but I guess what you're describing is there is really only a certain number of things we can do well at any one time.
It's true, and multitasking has been studied. You know where multitasking comes from originally, Kerry, right?
No, I don't.
It comes from the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you would click on a number of different items and process different items or different programs at the same time. And then it's the computer that has to multitask. It has to pay attention to program number 1, then program number 2, then number 3, number 4, number 5. And we found out the computers go faster if it only has to do one process at a time than it has to do 5 processes at a time. So then we took the term multitasking and applied it to the person who can do many things at one time. And it was studied. I read an article several years ago. It was studied. And only 3% of us can multitask. We may think we're multitasking, but you know what happens. You start something, and then you go to something else, and then you go to something else, and then you go back to the item number 1, and you say, where was I? And then you have to backtrack to where you were and then get back to where you can think about it and plan and plan the next item. It doesn't work. So this is a Hubbard term, attention units. It's how much, we only have a certain number of attention units to devote to something. Isn't it better to devote 100% than to devote less?
Wow.
A patient comes into my office. Do I want my front desk receptionist answering the phone whilst he's greeting that new patient for the first time? Well, how's the new patient going to feel? And so, those attention units in our office are driven to somebody else to answer the phone so that my front desk person is paying attention to the person who arrives and can greet the person promptly. So when it comes to smile, it's the same thing. How many people are just putting their hands in front of their face when they smile, or when they're talking, or they're hiding, or they're turning their heads in a different way, and that takes a certain amount of attention. Forget the fact that you don't like your smile. Now you come off as being, aloof, or not friendly in some way, because you're thinking about hiding the smile rather than thinking about the person in front of you.
That's an interesting way to think about it. And so as we were talking about and preparing for the show, we wrote down this question. It's kind of related. It said, what do attention units have to do with accomplishments? And I guess where you're going with that is that because we only have a limited amount of time, that plays into what we're actually able to accomplish.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, I mean, we can... all of us are busy in whatever way we are. I mean, I suppose many of us are retirees, and so we're not as busy. But, if we're living lives, we're finding things to occupy our time. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay too much more attention to politics. I really don't. I want to occupy my time with something where I feel I have control over something and where I can enjoy myself.
I'm sure you've heard this a lot. In fact, you almost sound like you might subscribe to this too. But I've oftentimes heard people who've retired from their day-to-day job, and they say, "Well, now I'm busier than I was even in my quote working days." And certainly listening to your schedule, where you're still overseeing the practice, but typically your son, who is I might brag on him for a second, say was listed as one of the top 40, was it the top 40 dentists under 40? Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Top 40 under 40. Thank you very much.
Dr. Matt Sheldon, great dentist.
As long as you would like, Kerry.
And also, Dr. Michelle, you've got some fantastic doctors in your practice, but then you stay busier than...
And he's vying for 50 under 50. So.
I love it. And then on top of that...
He's jealous, for God's sake. No, he's only 42.
But then on top of all that, in terms of making sure all that's going in the right direction, then you're out teaching other practices around the country how to do this. So I would say, as we get back to it, you're using a lot of attention units in a lot of areas, and quite well.
Well, it's true, and I'm doing the things I like. And John knows that I've been a media person for most of my career in some way. To be able to harness those skills that I developed during my career, and to be able to use those now, it's great.
Well, okay, so sort of circling back to our topic, so how do attention units then manifest themselves in dating, or what's that connection?
I think, first of all, it's even the problem of getting of having a date, and I know that there are many out there who are single and want to go out and want to develop relationships, and there is this reluctance to go out and meet people. Because what's the first thing that somebody looks at? They look at your smile. And so if you don't have the smile there, or if you're embarrassed about your teeth, it puts up a big barrier there. Many of the people who are seeing us for the major reconstructions, or even just the decorations, or even just bleaching, the less expensive procedures, are seeing us because in some way they're in a position now where they want to establish a new relationship, and so they want to put their best foot forward, or their best smile forward, if you will, so that they can get off to a good start. It's interesting how it's the obvious things that come first, and so we are looking at looks first, and an appearance that's something that you want to hide, you're not proud of, is going to get in your way in establishing a relationship, even if the person that you're trying to date isn't as concerned. Sometimes you're more concerned than he or she might be.
Right. It would seem
so
like
it does become a barrier.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a self-confidence issue. But so what are, that leads to a question like, what are some of the specifics? What do people notice in someone's smile? I mean, you've done this your whole life. You would understand this better than almost any of us, I think.
Well, if we're talking about the individual things that people notice, I can tell you that it's probably discolored teeth is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, discolored teeth often can be bleached. And there are methods of bleaching. There's home bleaching, which will accomplish a certain amount, or then there's the office bleaching, which will accomplish a lot more. We've got laser bleaching. We've got some pretty high-tech bleaches, which allow you to go from a brown tooth to a white tooth. It's and it's not kind of neat, it's really neat.
Wow.
And so for just stains and things like that, or just inherent dark colors, for not much of an investment, you can get those teeth looking better. For those who have misshapen teeth or broken down teeth, or missing teeth, of course, then it becomes more dental work that's necessary in order to be able to get there. But you see on the commercials on TV, the number of people who go and invest in the full extraction route and placing implants and doing full upper and lower implant-supported teeth, which, of course, we've been doing for many, many years. But you see some of the corporate entities advertising that on TV. People are willing to spend a lot of money, and what we're talking about is considerable money, to be able to get to the point where they say, I'm smiling. And they've said continually, I never thought I would spend this amount of money on my teeth, and now that I have, it's the best money I ever spent. It's one of those types of things. Oh, do I really want to spend the money? Oh, all right, I'll do it. And then life-changing events occur, and so that you see new relationships developing. And we talk about the one who, during our dental implant lecture, who's now dating her high school boyfriend again. It's kind of neat what occurs. Better jobs occur. I mean, there are a lot of things that happen once that barrier of a bad smile is gone and a good smile replaces it.
Yeah, I remember particularly how impressive it was in the lecture that we attended, where you had showed a guy who had some real problems with some of his teeth, and he'd kind of resigned himself to being like a night watchman or something like that. And once you got him set up and helped him get all that going the right direction, not only did he have like a great smile, but the way you described it was it really just changed around his life in many ways, job, relationships, and everything else. So I think it's fascinating to, and you can't underestimate what I guess these kind of things can do, not only for your self-confidence, but particularly as you are relating with other people as well. So as we continue our conversation with Dr. Lee Sheldon, who is a top area periodontist on I Want to Date Again, I guess I want to move along to our very next question, which we kind of touched on a little bit already. I think, Dr. Sheldon, you were talking about, maybe bleaching is one thing, but I wanted to ask you about some simple and inexpensive things that you can do to improve your smile. So, there's a lot of things in this article, by the way, that Dr. Sheldon says, once you find the right dentist, it's off to the planning stage. He writes, just as an architect draws plans for a new house before a contractor goes to work, so it is for the reconstructive dentist. Tooth shape, color, gum disease, tooth spacing, bone for potential dental implants, and jaw relationship all have to be assessed. And it's really an interesting, I guess it's an interesting process. But Dr. Lee Sheldon, I wanted to ask you the question, we were talking before about bleaching and things like that, but what are some simple, inexpensive things that folks can think about that would help them, maybe really gain on that smile?
Yeah, I think the first thing, Kerry, if you're just concerned about stains, then go to the pharmacy and pick up one of the whitening gels. There are a number of different ones. Crest white strips are probably what I recommend the most, and get the most you can out of that. So you'll spend $35, $40, something like that, and you'll see how white your teeth can get. Now, that's assuming that these are natural teeth. You're not going to be able to whiten up crowns. You're not going to be able to whiten fillings. This is natural tooth structure, which is enamel, which is absorbed stains. That's what you can accomplish with the whitening strips or any of the whitening products that you can get online or you can get at the pharmacy. The next level up is going to be the whitening that's done in the dental office. And depending upon the technology that's used determines how much whiter the teeth can get in the dental office versus what you're able to get at the drugstore. And even among dentists, we have different technologies. So we have laser technologies. We have special trays that are made that seal the bleach up against the teeth, and that requires some laboratory work to get there. And so you're going to spend somewhere between, let's say, $500 and $1,500 to get your teeth whitened as much as they're going to. And of course, the more you pay, the more whitening you're going to get. So those are the two first steps that you can take. Okay. But let's assume then you're missing teeth. Well, dental implants, you're going to spend thousands of dollars for a dental implant, which of course is what I do for a living. But if you're concerned about missing teeth and you don't, and you can't do the dental implant, then there is the removable partial denture. And so a removable partial denture can be made for about $1,500, and that can replace every missing tooth that you have. Now, there's going to be a plate that will fit on the roof of the mouth, and there'll be teeth that are attached to that plate. You won't be able to chew nearly as well on it because that plate is made out of plastic. But from a smile perspective, at least the spaces will be filled in. So those are the inexpensive ways of getting to the point where at least the teeth are whiter and the spaces are filled.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's encouraging because it's a lot generally less expensive than you might even imagine. But what are some of the different services, I guess, like if you're thinking about it, you say, hey, listen, maybe it is, as you point out at the beginning of the article, maybe someone lost a spouse that meant the world to someone, but as the grieving process kind of takes a natural course, maybe a new thought enters, what do you do to replace that socialization that you once had and enjoyed so much? And so whether it was perhaps maybe, looking at somebody from a I want to date again standpoint, or maybe you just want to take a thought about that as far as just all your relationships, work, social and other. What are some of the things that a dentist can do that helps in all this?
Well, the first thing is the evaluation by the dentist, and just as in any profession, you're going to have people who are better trained and better attuned to certain aspects of dentistry, just as it would be when you're talking about any profession. And so, if I were looking, I would look for somebody who is experienced in doing the full mouth case. Mm-hmm. And these days it's easier than ever because you can go to websites and you can see the befores and afters mm-hmm. and the type of work that person does. And so if you see that, in fact, the person can do that, it doesn't mean that you walk into the dental office that that's what you're automatically going to get. I just had a patient yesterday, walked in, said, I hear you good, and I want you to look at me. And I looked at her and I said, all right, all you need is cleaning. That's all you need. I mean, it doesn't mean that because you're going to walk into a high-tech office that you necessarily need a high-tech procedure. Some people want to go to that kind of office, which is good. But for those who are in the position where saying, I've got to do something, I want to do something different, I think you need to be able to do your due diligence, to be able to look and see what that person does, and have a good idea, even references, references are actually easier than ever because you only have to go to the review sites now to see what's going on. But personal references, of course, are better. But at least you have an opportunity of looking. Just don't look at the sale price. Don't look at the advertising, even though we do a lot of advertising. Don't just look at that. You've got to get in and do a little bit of work to be able to determine whether that's the right person. That's the right person to go to.
Yeah,
and there are many. It isn't just us. There are many.
You know, one of the things that I've really learned, because you've been associated with helping seniors literally since before Joe started helping seniors, for that matter, but you guys have done so many television shows along the way, radio shows, articles, and things like that, which, by the way, listener, are all archived on helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. You can also, if you're a YouTuber, you can find them on the YouTube page, Helping Seniors of Brevard, or even on Facebook at Helping Seniors of Brevard. And there's a lot of great resources. But one of the things, Dr. Lee Sheldon, that I have really come to understand after watching you share some of this wisdom over the years is the fact that sometimes as a patient we tend to self-diagnose, and either we make the problem more difficult than it is, or maybe we're focused on the wrong parts. And that's why getting that right dental expertise and help is so important. At least that's how I feel about it.
Well, it's true. I had just had a patient just before we started the show, and that person was convinced take out my upper and lower teeth and put in implants. I want to do what they do on TV. And I looked at him and I said, we can save enough teeth here where we can put fixed bridge work on the teeth, something cemented in place. I never thought I'd say this at the beginning of my career, but that's this is the way I have to say it now. Your teeth can be used as dental implants. So you don't have to extract them and put fake things in. You can actually use your existing teeth to build teeth on top of them. And pleasantly surprised that he could do that.
Wow. And that's why it's so important to take advantage, and because you also have an offer that I think is a wonderful offer from a consumer point of view, but from the Helping Seniors point of view, it's actually a godsend. It's your program that lets people come to your office, make a donation to their favorite charity, which I advocate for Helping Seniors, but then really get some good expertise about everything, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you want for a thorough examination, which includes a CT scan, full mouth X-rays, essentially everything you need in order to be able to determine what needs to be done. It's a 2-hour visit in the office. It's certainly going to be one of those thorough types of dental examinations. For $50, write a check to Helping Seniors of Brevard County for $50, and you get the entire thing at no charge.
Yeah, and it's a great benefit. It helps us do the work of helping seniors. You're going to get a lot of answers to questions you may have, at least I feel, and really get some good guidance on all these things we've been talking about. So, Dr. Sheldon, how do people get in touch with your office?
Our office, best way is to call us, and that's area code 321-259-8000, 259-8000. Let them know that you were referred by Helping Seniors of Brevard, and then you'll be in for the Solid Bite Smiles Back campaign, and just bring a check with you on the day of the appointment and write that check to Helping Seniors of Brevard for $50, and you've got the examination.
Yeah, I'm all in favor for that because it's a good for you, listener, and it's a great thing that helps us along on the Helping Seniors side as well. So, Dr. Lee Sheldon, thank you again so much. I'm going to ask you one more time to give the number so everybody's had plenty of time to grab a pencil and get this important number down.
Very good. That's 321-259-8000.
Yay, great. Well, thank you, Dr. Lee
Kerry,
Sheldon.
great to talk with you as always.
Always a pleasure, and thank you, John Harper, for being in the studio today. We've covered a lot. We've covered everything from COVID to good success in getting that smile right, so you can be the success you want to be in 2021. Because remember, those masks are coming off, right?
Hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.